Getting hyped up. I'm getting hyped up. I'm ready now. I got my spiked part like it's 1993. I got my braided belt cinched, looped over underneath, pulled tight as heck like a dang corset so I can't breathe. And that helps me debate. And I got my Golden Girl shirt, which we were going to give out to anybody that bested me in debate, which, as you can see, I'm wearing because we didn't get beat.
We even got the whiteboard, baby. Even got the whiteboard. Looks like a dang Japanese game show in Brazil. I'm not joking. If you go watch this video, what the heck is going on with this goofy show, dude? They've got, I'm not kidding, they've got, I took a screenshot of it. Where'd it go? Did I lose that screenshot? No, here it is. Look at this stupid stuff. They've got sound effects. They've got Richard Dawkins and Michael Shermer. Pow! Like it's a Batman comic book versus William Lane Craig and some other random nobodies. Whoosh! This is ridiculous. I mean, I'm not kidding, by the way. There's like smoke and light show, and they debate standing in a ring. It's like a Japanese game show, but it's in Brazil or somewhere. This video is crazy. So I started watching. I was like, "What is this?" And no, I don't drink. I don't know. People always say we dude's drunk, right? That stream where I was mad from the crypto crashing with Jamie. The dude drunk. I don't drink, dude. This right here is straight espresso. 100% straight espresso. I just naturally spurg out, dude. Can you not conceive of that possibility? So maybe we'll get some like hot take sci-fi shit coming in with Michio Kaku, right? Maybe he's going to tell us how to step into a damn wormhole, right? And come out the other side of the galaxy and become our own gods, dude. Wouldn't that be badass, right? Wouldn't that be bad? Like we got on one side the God boys and we got the devil boys on the other side. And what if we could all just come together and step into a damn wormhole? And then when we came outside the other end of the universe, in the multiverse, we could all be our own god of our own universe, dude. Imagine that. What if that was the reality? Maybe Michio can bring that to the table. I'll tell you what, Michio, if you produce a wormhole that I could step through and become my own sci-fi god, then I'll believe in science. Produce a wormhole right here in front of me that's pink and swirling and sparkly, and I will believe in science. How's that? Uh-oh. Imagine if William Lane Craig walked out in a bunch of smoke like he was on WWF or WE, whatever that shit's called, right? Like he'd come out with a Diamond Dallas Page and drop the Diamond Dallas Page on him. That would be awesome.
6 minutes.
You got 6 minutes.
Do you need warm up or something? No. Welcome. Please.
I want to begin with a joke.
Uh-oh.
There were 4 engineers sitting in a bar discussing the
Get ready. Don't let your neck go into a cringe pain, because I know you're going to be cringing when you hear this. I guarantee this is going to be terrible.
Subject of God. And the first engineer said, I have been looking at the genome and I have concluded that God is a genetic engineer like me. And the second one said, I've been looking at the skeleton and I've concluded that God is a mechanical engineer like me. And the third one said, I've been looking at the brain and it's clear that God is an electrical engineer like me. And the fourth one said, I'm a civil engineer. I know that God is a civil engineer. How do I know? Because who else would put a waste disposal pipe through a recreational area?
Oh, I'm British and I've made a pee-pee and a poo-poo joke, and it's really hilarious because it's fecal and it's and it's butt related. And it disproves the design argument. Now, this is interesting because I can already tell, right? This guy is going in the direction of saying that design doesn't actually exist in things. It's this thing, right, that we impose on the world, right? And this is what we've known ever since the Enlightenment and David Hume, blah, 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 right? We already know where this is going. And once again, as if nothing has happened in 300 years, we have to hear the same old debate of the 1700s debate, right? It's as if nothing has occurred in philosophy or apologetics such that we can move beyond the way this was debated in the 1700s. We're going to have William Lane Craig present the natural theology arguments once again, and we're going to have Dawkins and whoever this person is talk about how design doesn't actually exist in the world. The world is purposeless. The world is not given any inherent intelligent telos or meaning. And that's already, we already know where this goofy thing is going, don't we?
In Voltaire's novel Candide,
here we go.
There is a shipwreck in which...
if I just present the problem of evil for the 5,000th time.
Candide and Pangloss and their friend Jacques are shipwrecked in the harbour of...
Has nobody surpassed Reddit tier stuff? Like, even at this PhD level? This is Reddit tier stuff. I mean, it's like...
Lisbon, just before the Great Lisbon earthquake. And Jacques drowns. And Candide is upset about this, but Pangloss explains that you don't need to be upset, because Lisbon Harbour was created in order for Jacques to drown. The 1755 earthquake at Lisbon had a huge impact on Voltaire, because he saw people argue that there must be a purpose in something like an earthquake. Else why would it happen? And that what the purpose must be to punish Lisbon for its sins.
So one of the problems with this line of argument in terms of theodicy is that it tends, and we actually had a guy in the Discord the other day going down this route, it tends to assume that the human limited vantage point, if it can't know every possible potential purpose, then there is no purpose. Right? So in other words, well, how could there be purpose in animal suffering? How could there be purpose in droughts and famines and cyclones, right? That there's no purpose in those things. And so therefore, if you can't give me an exhaustive explanation of a purpose for every single possible event and bad disaster that happens, then there's no purpose, right? Because purpose, the argument goes, is therefore arbitrary, right? So if something bad happens, that's the punishment of God. If something good happens, then that's proof of God. And mutations and things that are sort of aberrations in nature are also just selectively chosen, right? We saw this move in, I think, the Hitchens-Craig debate, right? Hitchens was saying that the data that you select to say is purposeful in the natural world is arbitrary because you ignore the data that suggests mutations and chaos and that it's not purposeful, right? Now, on a natural theology basis, that's correct. It would be arbitrary, right? Because there's nothing that tells us from the outset that, right, how to interpret things in the world like death, right? Is death a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it natural, right? Natural theology doesn't know. And it tends to say, yeah, death is just natural. It's part of the natural process. Because I look out of the natural world, my autonomous reasoning tells me that death occurs, right? Predators and prey. So why wouldn't death be just as natural a principle as life or the generative principle, right? And so this, again, we are back at the same old problems because it's as if people don't think any progress in the questions of presuppositions and worldviews and paradigms of philosophy has at all occurred, right? Everything froze at the time of Bishop Butler and David Hume, and it's never progressed since then. And really, they don't even give cred to David Hume. I mean, if you're an atheist, I mean, David Hume is really the most consistent one, right? So again, this is just so frustrating to, again, just hear the same old things over and over. Every debate is literally a representation of every debate from the 1700s.
He wrote in his poem, was then more vice in fallen Lisbon found than Paris where voluptuous joys abound? He was attacking the philosophy of theodicy, Leibniz's idea that all is for the best in the best of all possible worlds.
Oh, this reminds me too, we kind of touched on this, I think, with Father Deacon. We were joking around, shout out to everybody in the chat, Father Deacon Norwegian News in the chat. We were actually making a joke about this line of argumentation in the Discord the other day, which is that, oh, well, purpose is just arbitrary, right? Because an apple fits into a gas tank, so therefore apples are made to go in gas tanks, right? Or the orange fits in the tailpipe, so the purpose of an orange is to stick it in the tailpipe and play pranks on your friends, and their cars don't start. But this isn't really, I mean, this is a valid critique of the natural theology approach to teleology, right? As if there's just a brute factual prima facie way to know that, well, this has, it's about the size of a of a tailpipe. So therefore, oranges are made to fit in tailpipes, or, golf balls. I don't know, whatever. And hence his joke about the buttholes, right? The pee-pee and the poo-poo. Well, it fits in there in some cases, so therefore that's its purpose. But this is, well, on many levels, this is actually not a very good argument, because it wouldn't work against someone like, people on our side of the fence that don't accept natural theology. It does have a point in terms of critiquing natural theology, which is to say that you don't prima facie know the purpose of a thing, right, by just simply looking at it and tallying up its physical properties and traits, right? I mean, how is that going to tell you the purpose of the thing, right? So purpose is a metaphysical principle that extends beyond the sense data. And this is why the natural theological conclusions are usually non sequiturs. It doesn't follow from it's round, it's 1 pound, it's, sweet to the taste. Therefore, it's made to fit inside tailpipes, right? That's a non sequitur, which is correct, because you can't do the tallying up of the traits that gives you the purpose. Purpose is a metaphysical principle that's going to be connected usually to the use of the thing, the pragmatic use and value of the thing, which is kind of subjective in some cases, right? And so therefore you can't divorce the value judgments from the data in terms of what the natural theology proponents are trying to do with this information. But at the same time, the people who try to do the atheist attempt at rejecting teleology presuppose teleology and logic and all the things that they're using to do this critique. So neither side in this bad argument gets off the ground.
And Voltaire points out, with this satire in Candide, the kind of muddle you get into if you look for purpose in everything in the world. So why do we think there is a purpose? Because there is a pattern. And I think we've been misled into mistaking a pattern for a purpose. We don't have good words to describe how this pattern comes about. So we get into a verbal confusion trying to understand it. But it's clear that things have function in the world. It's clear that our brains are for thinking. And it's clear that there is progress. There is progress in evolution. We see larger and larger animals and more complicated structures appearing on the Earth.
Yeah, well, he's already made a huge mistake, right? So here we have a guy from the science world, right? And the people in the science world know nothing about, 99% of the time, the philosophy of science. This guy doesn't even know, totally clueless, unaware that what he just said was packed with metaphysical baggage. Okay, so he's appealing to things that are totally metaphysical in nature. We know that evolution displays progress, complexity, right? There's nothing about something having more cells or having more molecules, that means it has progressed, you see. The same critique that he's going to make of purpose will apply to his critiques of pattern, or his claims of patterns and of progress. This idiot doesn't even know that patterns and progress are just as much metaphysical assumptions, categories, necessities, presuppositions for intelligibility as is telos, the very thing he's trying to attack. Right? So this guy's already just totally, you could easily refute this right away.